Okay, let's be real. You know that feeling when you're craving soft serve, but the nearest ice cream shop is either closed, too far, or just not worth the trip? Yeah, we have all been there, especially on a hot day or a random late-night craving. So when something like the Ninja CREAMi Swirl promises to bring that soft serve magic right to your countertop, it definitely gets your attention. But the real question is, does it actually live up to the hype? Or are we just getting fancy frozen mush with a star-shaped nozzle? That's exactly what we're diving into today. If you've used the previous Ninja CREAMi model before, setting up the swirl will feel familiar. You've got your outer bowl, the creamerizer paddle, and your pint with a twist top lid. But here's where things change. The new swirl pints have a nozzle. Yep, a little attachment that lets the mix flow out in a nice spiral pattern, just like a real soft serve cone. It only fits one way, so setup is fairly straightforward. The new design has some thoughtful touches like alignment lines and color coding to help you lock things in, but it's still a bit more fiddly than the original. You're definitely working with a few extra pieces now. Not hard to figure out, but something to note if you're someone who likes simple, quick setups. Now, before we swirl into the fun part, let's make one thing super clear. This is not a traditional ice cream machine, and that matters. Traditional ice cream machines churn liquid bases while slowly freezing them, building an air and texture along the way. The Ninja CREAMi? It's different. It takes a pre-frozen solid block and pulverizes it with a spinning blade to create that creamy texture. So in a sense, you're blending frozen solids into soft serve, not crafting it from scratch. And you know what? That's totally fine. As long as the result tastes good and feels right, we're not going to be purists here. But if you're expecting the texture of soft serve straight out of a real dairy shop machine, yeah, you might want to manage expectations. Alright, now let's see what this thing can actually do. It gives you 13 one-touch programs, and that includes 6 new dedicated soft serve modes. So you're not just stuck with classic ice cream anymore. You can try things like swirled fruit sorbets, protein-packed blends, and low-calorie creations with almost zero effort. And for the health-conscious folks or gym goers, there's a CREAMi Fit, a new feature that lets you make high-protein, low-calorie treats without giving up texture. Add in the ability to control ingredients and flavor, and you're not just getting frozen desserts, you're getting customized frozen desserts. Honestly, the versatility here is where this machine really shines. Want to swirl mango sorbet for your kid and then make a protein chocolate treat for yourself in the same machine? Done, with just a button press. Now that we have got that out of the way, let's talk about how well it actually performs. So here's the moment of truth, the Swirl Feature. Once you've processed your pint, you attach it to the dispenser, lock it in, and twist the handle. At first glance, it's kind of exciting. The cone starts filling with that perfect spiral. It definitely looks the part, and for the kids, it's fun, interactive, and kind of magical, like their own mini ice cream truck moment in the kitchen. But is it soft serve? Technically, yes. The texture is soft, it's airy-ish, it looks like soft serve. But if you have had the real stuff from an actual machine, like after a baseball game or at your favorite shop, it's not quite there. The taste is good, sure, but the texture a little too fluffy sometimes, and melt time super fast. You've got maybe a minute before things start sliding off that cone like lava. To really test it out, you can run multiple mixes, store-bought powder bases, pineapple dough mix, and even Ninja's own recipe book suggestions. And here's where things get a little tricky. You might get some mixes that get way too soft, especially on the fruit whipped setting. Others needed just one respin to hit the right consistency. Honestly, it's a bit of a guessing game until you learn what works with your freezer. Ninja's newer recipe book is definitely a step up though. They've added stuff like xanthan gum, milk powder, and jello mix to improve texture, and it really shows. The salted caramel soft serve from their guide, pretty solid. The vanilla? Not bad either, especially in a cone dipped in hard-shell chocolate. But it's not foolproof. You will still need to play with freezing times and ingredient tweaks to find your sweet spot. Let's not gloss over this one. It's loud. Like bordering on lawnmower loud. So if you're someone who hates noisy appliances or has sleeping kids in the next room, Might want to time your soft serve sessions carefully. Now cleaning, it's not horrible, but definitely more to deal with than the original model. There are extra parts and the nozzle piece isn't easy to scrub inside. Rinsing works for now, but over time, milk solids can build up and there's no clear way to reach inside to deep clean it. If anyone figures out a trick for that, drop it in the comments. Let's get to the money question. The OG Ninja CREAMi costs a whole lot less, and in some tests, it even gave better texture. So, is that swirl handle and soft serve nozzle really worth the extra $150? Well, that depends on you. If you love the swirl aesthetic, have kids who will go nuts for it, or just want the experience of serving cones at home, it's a fun upgrade. But if you're after consistency, simplicity, or you already own a previous model, you might not need this. Especially if you're okay scooping from the pint instead of making a perfect swirl every time. Overall, the Ninja CREAMi Swirl 2025 is a fun, clever kitchen gadget with some cool tricks, but it's not for everyone. If you're a soft serve perfectionist, you will find yourself nitpicking the texture. If you're just looking to throw together a protein dessert or sorbet for a weeknight snack, it's got potential. But keep in mind the noise, cleanup quirks, and learning curve on mixed consistency. Once you figure out what your freezer likes and which recipes gel blast, it becomes a lot more reliable, but you have got to be patient. So is it perfect? Not quite. But it is fun, creative, and just quirky enough to earn a spot in your kitchen. And that's a wrap on the Ninja CREAMi Swirl. If you have tried it or are thinking about grabbing one, drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear how it worked for you. If this review helps you out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next scoop-worthy review.